This is the Chefpreneur podcast, where we inspire professional cooks to take on greater risk to build a personal chef business for themselves. Now, here's your host, Andres Hinojosa.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Chefpreneur podcast. My name is Andres Hinojosa, your host. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Hey, you know what? I know that we haven't released a podcast in a while, and we've been working on something huge that we're about ready to launch. I just can't wait to get this out to you guys. So please, thank you so much for your patience. We've just been working on it day and night, and it's amazing. It's going to be freaking awesome. So I can't wait to release it. I'm not going to give you the date yet, but we will be releasing it here in the next week or so. And we're going to be releasing something huge that all of you guys want. So I can't wait to release it, but thank you so much for your patience. I know we haven't posted in a while and basically published a podcast in a while. So thank you so much again for tuning in today. Hey, we like to start off every Chefpreneur podcast with a segment that basically where we get a question that you guys have asked either on our Facebook Chefpreneur Movement group or just through our email. And there's a specific question that comes from Nancy on our Facebook Chefpreneur Movement group. And I just want to answer her. So her question is, ideas for cost-efficient commercial kitchen space. Rent really drives product price up until you reach a certain volume. What do you do in the early stages of new business? So great question, Nancy. I just wanted to kind of, there's a couple different points here to this question that I want to break down. Number one is it sounds like you're wanting to do basically a meal delivery service, because usually for a commercial space, that's what you're going to be doing, especially in the personal chef space. You're going to be basically prepping and cooking all your meals for your clients in this commercial space and then delivering them. So I want to just make sure that I'm clarifying that if that's the direction you're trying to head. Now, as far as commercial kitchens go, there's a lot of different angles to bringing in someone to either rent a space with you or going to a kitchen that's a commune kitchen that basically other people rent as well as you. Now, there's some pros and there's some cons to each, right? So the pro side of having your own space and renting it with someone else, basically, where you kind of come up, you actually rent and put in a lease agreement under your name and someone else's name, or, different, maybe 2-3 different people's names. Basically, the pro to that is obviously you have access to that kitchen pretty much whenever you want, right? You mean you're sharing it with a few other people, right? That's the biggest pro. You're able to get in there. You're able to cook whenever you want to cook. But one of the biggest falls of that, or the drawbacks of that, would be that obviously you have to pay probably a higher lease, and now you're responsible for paying that rent every single month, which is overhead. And if you guys ever listen to this podcast, I'm not big on overhead. I don't like overhead. I try to stay away from as much overhead as possible in my business. So what I mean by that is that you're looking at something in that realm of space of a commercial kitchen, and you will have to rent something like that if you're going to go all in with someone else. Okay, so that's the pro and con of that. Now, there's also these community kitchens, or commune kitchens as they call them, where there's several people, sometimes a massive amount of people, and they register the kitchen by the state or by the local county or the local agency to be a commercial kitchen solely for the reason of all these businesses coming in and using it as a commercial space. So, of course, someone else has the actual lease on the building, and you're just renting, basically you're buying your time in that kitchen. Now, the pro of that is that it's going to be much less cost than when you're actually wanting to rent a space on your own, or having it with a business partner or something like that, right? That's a huge pro, because it is going to be a lot cheaper because you're sharing it amongst all these other basically businesses. Now, of course, a huge drawback and a huge con for that is that you also are going to be sharing the time that's spent in that kitchen with these other businesses. And a lot of times they have schedules and you're trying to pencil yourself in. And, sometimes you're like, man, I need to get in there. It's Tuesday, but then you get in there and it's like, it's packed, or they double booked you, or they double scheduled the kitchen. And so there's just all this chaos going on, as well as you might not be able to have the hours that you want to be able to supply the freshest and the best food to your clients. Now, one thing I want to speak to that, Nancy, is when you're just starting out this business, you want to make sure, first of all, I don't know how deep you want me to dive into this, but what I feel like how I want to answer your question is, when you're starting your new business in the early stages and you're looking at a meal delivery service, I wouldn't start out straight out with meal delivery, because you're right. The overhead of that kitchen and basically, the rent is really going to drive up the cost until you reach that certain volume. So in order to counteract that, what I would do, I would start building a level of clientele where you go to their homes and you cook those meals there. Now, I understand that maybe this is not what you want to do in the end. You're going to want to just deliver the meals, for maybe it's dietary restrictions or different kind of meal plans that people have. But I'm going to tell you why. There's 3 reasons of why that's going to be the best for you to start out that way. Number 1, you won't need to rent a kitchen at all, right? You're going to be cooking in the client's home. End of discussion. There's no overhead in that. There's nothing that you have to pay as far as the kitchen goes, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, you're going to be able to be face-to-face with clients and see what they really want and give them a great quality product and take notes and analyze and just make sure you're getting all the feedback from them on which meals they really liked the best, which meals reheated the best, which of them, were the best, I guess you would say, were the biggest hits between those clients, and so forth and so on, and how to store them properly, right? Because when you're doing mass meals for meal delivery, you're basically putting yourself out there and you're only as good as your last meal that you cook. So, on human error, on the client error, when they go to heat it up, they might be nuking it. They might be, just throwing it in the oven with no lid or something like that. And, things can dry out. Things cannot taste as good as when you prepared them. Well, when you're doing it in the client's home, you can start to kind of analyze what dishes work, what dishes don't. And you'll start to see which ones reheat the best, which ones don't. You'll start to get some of that stuff down, right? And so that's number 2. You're going to have great feedback from your clients, and you're going to be able to dive in a little bit more and to see what they really want, so that when you do basically want to go and take a step of faith and put yourself out there and rent a commercial kitchen, or at least, buy a big chunk of time in one of these community kitchens, you're going to know which meals are the biggest hits, which ones maybe possibly will make you the most money, which ones reheat the best. So you're going to have a lot of feedback in the beginning, which you need that feedback in your business. Otherwise, without that feedback, you're kind of just playing games, and you'd be, still renting your kitchen and doing all this work on the back end without really understanding the feedback that are coming from the clients. So that's number 2. Number 3, and I would say, last but not least, number 3, basically is that when you're doing meals for clients in their home, you're going to get a sense as well of what it's like to prepare this food, right? And so what I mean by that is that you're going to get more experience in learning how to shop and how to do all this stuff and how to cost by doing this on a repetitive basis for a specific family. And again, it goes back to the feedback, but at the same time, when you're there, you're going to understand how to put these meals together in the most appropriate way and how to maybe store them and how to actually package them. So again, it's going back to that feedback, but that third piece of it, that really seeing how to put it all together and how to market market that and see your true clientele, and like the people that are actually going to hire you will be your clientele. It'll be an easy transition for the step down when you go and say, hey, I'm just going to deliver your meals. I'm going to make it from a commercial kitchen. They're already going to know you. You're going to have some sort of a reputation already as well. So on the marketing side, and as the basically the aspect of you putting it all together, the marketing, the logistics, the feedback is all going to come together by having that meal. Instead of doing a meal delivery up front, you're going to actually just, basically make those meals in the client's home. So hope that answers the question, Nancy. I hope that helps you a little bit. I don't do any meal delivery myself in my business, but I know that it's a big thing, and a lot of chefs do that, and a lot of chefs and cooks want to do and offer that service. Personally, I don't like overhead. Like I said, I like to do things fresh in my client's home. And I know that it's more, time constraint because you're not able to sell as much. But with all due respect, if you're making, 50 meals in a commercial kitchen, you're spending all day, as opposed to just spending all day cooking for one family, you'll probably make more money, to be very honest with you, cooking for the one family on one day than you will be cooking 50 different meals. So thanks so much, Nancy. Hey, if you guys have a question, please feel free to email us at questions or podcast@chefpreneurprogram.com. You guys can email us there, and we'd love to receive your questions. Or you can go into Facebook, search for the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group. You can join. It's a private group, but it's free to join, and you guys can post a question in there, and we love to answer your questions here on this podcast. Now, with that being said, let's get right into our topic today. And this podcast is titled The Freedom of Having Your Own Business. Now, I've been wanting to do a podcast based upon this topic for a while because one of the things that I've noticed in my own personal life is I wanted that sense of freedom of owning my own business. Now, some people can paint this really, really beautiful rainbowy picture about owning your own business. It is tough. There's things that you're going to have to basically overcome. There's going to be obstacles that are going to come your way. But the fulfillment of having your own business and basically having control of where your money's coming from and basically owning, your job instead of someone else owning it and you working for someone else is huge. And there's a lot of freedom that comes with that. Now, our country is based, the United States, of course, is based upon freedom. Our founding fathers did say that with freedom comes great responsibility. And this is the reason why when you own your own business, there's a level of responsibility that you have to have, right? Because you don't know where your next paycheck is going to come from. You don't know, where your next client's going to come from. Now, in the Chefpreneur program that we are set to launch, and I'm hoping I'm not letting it out of the bag, but we are set to launch it. And we teach you step by step on how to find your clients, how to keep them, how to make it consistent, and all that. But I'm telling you that, of course, as a business owner, you're going to have to put in the work. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it is extremely rewarding. And you can have that freedom and start your own business and take the reins of your life and put it into your own hands, as we say here in the Chefpreneur movement. So one of the things that I love about having my own business and having the freedom is that there's really no holds bar on what food I want to do. Right now, we always put our clients first, and I teach this in the Chefpreneur program as well in the podcast, but it does give you a lot more creative freedom, and you're able to use the best product out there. You're able to source from the best. You're able to do the food that you want to do and really put a spin on the foods that you really enjoy cooking without anybody really over your shoulder telling you what you can't and can't do. So that's really great. Now, one of the other things that I really enjoy about having the freedom of owning my own business is really I'm able to bless whoever I want to bless. I wanted to give you guys a little story. There was a story a while back. I was cooking for a client, and her neighbor's husband had Parkinson's disease really bad. And one day he fell down the stairs, and long story short, he ruptured a main artery in his arm. And, he kept on getting this. It was kind of getting swollen and bruised up. And basically they rushed him to the emergency room, and they found out that basically he was bleeding internally. And without them going into that, he would have never known that he would almost passed away from that. So basically, as he was in the ER and he was in the hospital, they found out he was bleeding internally. And basically, as he basically started to discover that he almost had his life end, with his Parkinson's disease was getting worse. And, he really didn't have a good outlook on life, to be very honest with you. And my client, who knows me really well, was like, hey, Chef, I don't know if you want to give, her a call and see if she needs any help, because I know that, her husband's in really bad shape and they're just kind of laying low in the house for a while. And basically, she can't really leave his side. So I said, you know what, I'd love to just go ahead and give her a call, see if she needs any help, with anything, whether it's even grocery shopping or coming in and making some meals for the week for them and just helping them out. So what I did do was I, went ahead and gave her a call. And as she's, on the phone with me, she's really appreciative. And she's like, you know what, we really don't need anything. I know I have to be by his side, and it's a little hard for us and challenging to really get out of the house, to be honest with you. And I said, well, if there's anything you need, just let me know. I'm here. And the whole thing turned into, we ended up getting off the phone. I said, you know what, there's something that's not right here. I don't know. I just want to help these people out. So I called them back. And right away, and she was like, oh, Chef, I just got off the phone with you. And I was like, yeah, I just wanted to just give you a call back and let you know that I'd like to come, and just kind of speak with you and just, help you guys in any way I can. So long story short, I showed up to their house and ended up talking to him, and he was in pretty bad shape. And, you could tell that he was very grim with hope. He had a lot of problems with his Parkinson's, and unfortunately now he had problems with his arm as well. And as I'm sitting there and I'm talking with him, I'm just kind of encouraging him and sharing some different things that have happened in my life. And again, this had nothing to do with food. Well, at the end of the day, as I'm leaving, I'm kind of like, well, I'd like to really come cook for you. Like, I know I didn't come cook for you today. I just kind of did a visitation and just, to introduce myself. But she goes, well, it's funny how you mentioned that because, like our anniversary's coming up. And I said, really? I was like, when's your anniversary? She's like, oh, this Saturday. And I think it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday. I was there at their house. And so I was like, you know what? I want to come cook you a 3-course meal for your anniversary. And I said, all you got to do is buy the groceries. And I want to just, I want to just come cook for you guys. And she was so blown away. She started tearing up and she's like, that is the nicest thing anybody's done for us in a long time. And I'm not telling you guys a story to make myself look like some saint, right? But I had the freedom in my own business to do something like that. And, she didn't, like I said, they were not able to go out of the house. And I showed up and she had the table set and she had candles lit. And it was just such a sweet moment. It's such a great moment. And it just gave me so much fulfillment and so much pleasure to cook for them on their anniversary when I knew that they couldn't go out of the house. And it was such a special evening for them. And it really just made me feel so good that I was able to just use my God-given talents and skills and be able to serve them and be able to just cook for them and make them happy and make them have a great, enjoyable night in celebrating their anniversary. And after the whole evening was over, she gave me a big hug and she was tearing up again and telling me that she just can't believe I did this for her and it was like beyond her expectations. And I thought about it for a second as I walked back out to my car and I was getting in my car and I was thinking to myself, you know what, if we can still do that no matter if we're employed by someone else, right? We can still do that. We can still, go around and we can, take our night off and go cook for a client that we want to cook for. But the thing is, realistically, is that this is my business. This is what I do full time. I am a personal chef. And what's great is that no one can tell me, nobody could tell me what I can and can't do. If I want to go cook for someone for free and just give it to them on the house and bless them and encourage them and make their lives a little bit better, then no one can hold me back. Sometimes you're in this corporate setting, you're in your job and, man, you try feeding a homeless person in the back alley and, and the corporate structure is like, oh, you can't do that, right? Who's paying for that? Like, this is not a charity restaurant, this and this and this. And it's like, sometimes we lose a little bit of our human touch. And a lot of these big companies do, right? A lot of these hotels and different restaurants, they lose that personal touch. And so with that being said, owning my own business has allowed me to do things that no one can tell me not to do, right? I don't have to listen to anybody. I don't need to look at, bottom line cost and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, as a business owner, I do look at that stuff. But when it comes to what really matters and what I'm able to do, no one can tell me what to do. And I just wanted to share that story with you because it's really this freedom that you're going to have. They can bring so many different levels of fulfillment. Not only, when you walk into your job, and I like to say that where you fire your job, right? Where you actually fire your job, not quit. You actually fire your job and you hire yourself, right? That's what you're going to do when you go work on your own. And the thing is that that's one level of freedom. But then you start to dive in and the things that you're able to do, right? Whether it's through charities, whether it's through different things and donating your time and using your business, using your skills to be able to bless people and help people out in whatever capacity. I know a couple personal chefs that help out at different, soup kitchens and different orphanages and things like that where they want to help out and no one can tell them otherwise, right? Now, I'm not saying you can't volunteer, doing those types of things as well without a business. But I'm saying when you have your own business, there's something about it that gives you a sense of fulfillment, that you have the freedom to do those things and you don't have to ask anyone else permission. You don't have to ask anyone else, hey, is this going to affect the bottom line? Is this going to be in line with, what the company standards are and all this other BS? You're really only able to step out and do whatever you want to do. So, for me, that's the level of freedom that I work really hard for, and no one can take that away. And the other freedom that really comes with owning your own business is spending more time with your family, spending more time with the people that, time with the people that you love. Yes, I own my own business and I have to work and, be in my office and write menus and do, follow-ups and all that good stuff and sales calls and all that good stuff. And I go cook as well for my clients, right? But at the end of the day, if I want to take a day off for my daughter's birthday, or if I want to take a day off off just to relax with my family, I can, right? I can say no to a client. No one's in control of me, right? I don't have a boss. I am my own boss. And it's really powerful to be able to say no. And it's really powerful to be able to take a day and do whatever you want, have the freedom to do that without anybody telling you that you can't. It's really that simple, right? Now, obviously there's times where I have to work and I need to because, I got to pay the bills. But at the end of the day, that freedom of knowing that I have the freedom to say no is huge. And no one can take that away from me. I've had that because I've stepped over into owning my own business. So I wanted to just share that with you guys and encourage you guys to see the freedom that owning your own business has. And being a personal chef gives you just great fulfillment and great freedoms on very different levels than what you would get inside of a JOB, a job, right? And I like the acronym that they use. The JOB is just over broke. And that's how a lot of you guys feel when you have a job. All you out there that have jobs, sometimes you feel like you're just barely making it. And really you're confined into this job and you're working your tail off and you're getting, underpaid and underappreciated and overworked and you're stressed out and you can't take a day off sometimes because the chef's going to get mad at you and you feel like you're going to be the black sheep of the kitchen if you request one day off. So I just wanted to encourage you guys that the freedom that comes with owning your own business, it's great responsibility. There is great responsibility in having that freedom, but there's nothing like that freedom because no one can take it away. So, hey, thank you guys so much again. I hope that encouraged you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Again, here at the Chefpreneur movement and the program, we are motivating, educating, and inspiring chefs to take that leap of faith, start your own business, and create your experiences that you want to create in your own life without anyone holding you back. We believe that the future is yours and you can put it into your own hands. Hey, we really want you to download this free ebook that I have. So it's a free ebook. It's basically a great ebook to get you started on starting your own business. And it's the Chefpreneur mini ebook, as I call it. And to get a free copy, you can go to ebook.chefpreneurprogram.com. That's ebook.chefpreneurprogram.com. You can go ahead and get that ebook there. You can also search on Facebook for our Facebook group, which is the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group. It's a free group. It is private, but as a free group, you can request to join. And inside, we have a link as well to download that free ebook from that Facebook group as well. And like I said at the beginning of this podcast, we have something huge that we're going to be releasing here in the next coming weeks. It's absolutely huge, but we're going to be releasing it only to you that are all on our email list. So I really need you to download that ebook, get on our email list so that you guys can know what we're about ready to put out. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to share it with all of you guys. Hey, thanks so much again for tuning in. This is Chef Andre signing off. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Chefpreneur podcast, where we want to educate, motivate, and inspire as many chefs to become their own boss. Please subscribe to the podcast and join us every week to be part of the movement. To sign up for our free online training, visit becomeachefpreneur.com.